in my head, in the stylist, I'm like the man. And I'm like, oh, this is my world. And I'm making, and then I leave that world and I'm like, do the bags. Don't touch no hair.
Over the last 25 years, I've been behind the chair, in the classroom, in front of the camera, on the stage, on set styling some of your favorite A-listers, and opening doors as the first Black woman spokesperson for a few prestige hair care brands. During this time, I've met some incredible hairstylists that are continuing to elevate the beauty industry, and I want to share their stories. Join me for this Pro Convo on Behind the Beauty.
Hey everybody, this is your girl, Tippi Rank, and welcome to the very first episode of Pro Convo. My very first guest is a celebrity stylist. He is a fixture as key stylist behind Fashion Week in New York and Milan in Paris. He is also the beauty editor at large at ID Magazine. Let's give it up for Jawara Wauchope.
Hi.
Hey
everybody.
I am so honored to have you. Like I said, I have been a fan of your work for so long and didn't know anything about you. And I started doing some research and I came across your Instagram page and have just been a fan ever since. So, welcome. Thank you so much for allowing me to have this little bit of your time. Where in the world are you?
I'm in New York right now, where I live. I live in New York.
Okay. No, I'm not even sure if I knew you lived in New York. Every time I talk to you, you're like,
I'm always traveling, right?
You are always traveling. Yeah, your passport must be like this thick.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is.
Kind of crazy.
So you live in New York. Is this where you're from? Were you born and raised in New York? Tell us where you're from.
Born in New York, and I was raised in Kingston, Jamaica. My mom and dad sent me to live in Jamaica with some family and them because they would live there part-time. So I would say I'm like Jamaican in the sense of like born here, raised there.
Okay.
I did New York for school and high school and for the rest of my life. So I'm a born certified New Yorker.
So thank you for sharing that. And I love that you say that you lived in New York, because typically a lot of my friends who are Jamaican, they are born in Jamaica and raised in New York. So I love that. I love that. Yes. Listen, I would be mad to like have birthed my daughter here and then move to some beautiful island to raise. Like I'm good with that. So kudos to your parents for that. Yeah. Which is so funny because when we joined this morning, you said you were eating breakfast and I asked you what you were eating. What are you eating?
I was eating ackee and saltfish, which is like a Jamaican dish. My favorite dish.
Did you cook it?
Oh, no, I ordered it.
Okay.
I ordered it.
Boo.
That I love, but I can cook it though. I'm a very good cook in that sense.
All right, cool. So I'm inviting myself to your house for ackee and saltfish.
I got you. I'm going to make some food for you for sure.
So growing up in New York, I mean, we know that New York is the capital of fashion as it relates to the United States. And, when I think of Jamaica, I think of very easy breezy. So as a hair artist, how did those two different dynamics inspire you or shape how you felt about hair in general?
Well, I guess my first influence on hair was in Kingston. And Jamaica is easy breezy, but Kingston is like the city, the capital of Jamaica. So like, it's where everything is happening. So it's almost like the New York, like what New York is to America. So there kind of was some synergies in that way. And at the time when I was young, it was a really heavy dance hall culture and a lot of music and a lot of singing, a lot of dancing, a lot of going to shows and stuff like that. And the big thing down there was hair and sculptural hairstyles and colors and just really out there type hair. So that's my first impression of hair. Walking down the street, seeing a woman with a platinum blonde, basically high stacked hairstyle with a black bottom and
just like going to work.
Yeah, just going to work.
Yeah.
So like that's
I love it.
That's my first impression of hair. Actually, my first impression of hair were locks because my mom and a lot of my family are Rastafarians, and a lot of them aren't. So I saw like two different hairstyling in my family, and my aunt happened to be a hairstylist who did the really, really elaborate hairstyling. So I think my world of hair was so vast, so wild, and so versatile that I've always just been like, I guess that's why my style is a bit like here and there sometimes. Then I came to America and went to school in New York, where New York is a very fast-paced melting pot. And, there's a lot of Caribbean influences. There's a lot of there's a lot of Hispanic influences. There's so many Latino influences. There's so many Asian influence here in New York that I feel like going to school here, seeing different styles of hair, especially like just on the back of the bus, in class, people were really experimenting, and we used to music videos and emulate the music videos in our own little way in school. And I feel like that kind of like was another space for me to really understand how hair and self-expression is so important. And then I went to the Fashion Institute of Technology, as well as Aveda Cosmetology School in Soho.
I don't know if I knew you were an Aveda alum.
Yeah, okay. I'm an Aveda alum. And I wanted to do fashion and I wanted to do hair. And I was like, I'm going to go to both. So went to college at FIT, but I also did hair in a salon in Harlem as an assistant and used that money to pay for Aveda. So I was like doing dual majors at the same time. And I was trying to figure out how to forge the both together, fashion and hair. And then I end up here.
Well, I'm sure there's multiple steps between there and here, because when I think of you, and so let's talk about it. So you were going to FIT, which I love, by the way, because it really now makes me understand your different approach to hairstyling aesthetically. It definitely helps me understand that. And then working in Harlem in a salon, as I think you said, as an assistant or as a stylist. Was your end game as a stylist? Because when we all go to beauty school, we don't really know what the options are for us beyond the salon, truly, especially as a Black hair artist, because I don't know your age, but I know at my age, when I was in beauty school, there just wasn't anyone out there that looked like me doing anything beyond working in a salon. Did you have dreams of grandeur while working in the salon?
I got really obsessive about Vogue magazine and Harper's Bazaar magazine, and like going through this magazine, and my question in my head was like, well, someone's doing this hair. Who is doing this hair? And even though I loved my school and I had an amazing time there, I don't think they even knew of certain careers in hair that I was like really obsessed with. So I kind of had to teach myself in that sense of like, I always tell someone, if you really want to do something, you kind of have to be obsessed with it just a little bit to kind of like really dive into it and, know everything about it. So I started like looking up, in the gutters of the magazine, they would say hair by.
Yeah.
I would open the gutters of the magazine and I'd be reading, and then I would get on the internet and I'd be like, okay, this person's at this agency, and I would just email the agencies over and over and over again. And this is while I was still working in Harlem in a salon and going to school at FIT and Aveda. I started assisting backstage at fashion shows, and then those experiences opened up my mind to another level, because it was like, I didn't even know that there's a career. People don't think about it, I feel like, well, at that time, people weren't thinking about it. And I got to do the shows and I assisted some amazing people. The issue at the shows was I was one of the only people that looked like me.
Right.
We had models of color that were going through so many issues with their hair, and then they would come backstage and they would see me, and without even knowing anything,
you have a line. You got a lot of people waiting for you.
What you're doing. And, it became this thing. It became this inside joke where the girls would come in and they would like, it's so crazy because I don't even know if the people that I was working with or assisting with knew that this was happening, but like they would come in and see me, and I would have someone in my chair and they'd be like, I'm going to the bathroom, and then I'm going to, and I'm going to look out. I'm going to look out. And if you tell me come now, that's when I'll come. And it's like, wow. So that's when I realized that highly textured hair care in that industry is not good. It's not not a lot of people know how to do it. A lot of people still don't know how to do it. So that was a very interesting time for me.
So the person or the people that gave you the opportunity to assist and work backstage because I know when I first started working backstage, I was brought in because I was a stylist who knew how to work on, right? So it's like you've got a team of 20, and then I was brought in. It wasn't told to me as such, but the moment I got set up, all the girls that were brought over to me were typically girls who had, higher textured hair. So when the people who brought you in, were you brought in under the idea or concept that you would be working on the highly textured hair, or were you brought in like, hey, you're part of my team and we're just getting in?
Well, essentially, I thought that's what it was. But when I got there, they were passing me models of all different hair types.
Great.
I think there was a specific show where there was a lot of Black models, I want to say. And I think I'm probably like my third or fourth show into the season. So I think initially I wasn't only supposed to do that. But then as I started doing the Black hair models, I did them very fast. I gave them the look that, let's say, at the time they wanted like a slick back look and someone didn't have relaxed hair. They would let that person just be. I would have conversations with the lead hairstylist and they'd be like, you can get that person with the slick back look, and I would do it fast. And it was like, oh, wow. So then this whole thing, like, yeah, we can do all of that with this hair, you know?
All the things. Right.
Everything and more. So then I think after that, it was like, okay, let's give him the highly textured models, give him all the Black models. And I think sometimes in our industry, that's a bit of it's a disappointment, because then you start to see that, being that there's not a lot of people who knows how to do that type of hair, you now are the person only doing that type of hair. I showed my versatility every day. I did all types of models. And, you know, that to me was a little bit of an issue at first, but we stepped over that and moved on through that. And that was basically my start into this industry.
Well, that's an incredible start, because most people, Fashion Week and things like that, come so far into their career. You know, they spend so much time behind the chair and then maybe they get a little burnt out, and now they're looking for photo shoots. I want to do fashion shoots. I want to do celebrity. So it's really interesting that was really kind of like the beginning. So did you ever work in a salon just like as a traditional hairstylist?
Yeah. For me, prior to what I was telling you, I was going to school, 2 schools, and working in a salon as a hairstylist assistant. And then I became a lead stylist in the salon. So all this time I've never left. I didn't leave the salon. I was always still working in the salon. And I'm talking about not here and there, like all the time. So whenever I was not, so I would take off days to go do shows and stuff like that. And then I got really popular in the salon that I was working in Harlem. And I kind of like made sure I finished school, graduated both schools. And instead of going directly into whatever people would normally do, I was already in the salon while I was in school. So I kind of had the job already. But now I've gotten the taste of this fashion world and hair world. So it was a time when I was on Booth Rent, and I got asked to do Fashion Week Europe. And at this time I have like a big clientele, and I go to the owner of my salon and I'm like, I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks. And I know I have to pay the booth rent for 3 weeks without working for 3 weeks. So it was like those instances too, where I would be gone for 3 weeks, booth rent prepaid, but I'm in Europe assisting, holding pins and like, assisting. But I have my clients at home, like, you know, I have my clients and my assistant in the salon asking what
at home, right?
You know what I mean?
Where's he? Why?
So sometimes I feel like you have to leave a big thing to get to a bigger thing. Because in my mind, everyone that I was in school with wanted what I already had. I already had a chair in a salon, in a high profile salon in New York City. Right. And I was leaving that chair to go assist, which is a very humbling experience. But I feel like—
Very humbling. So I'd love to talk about that. So as a stylist that builds teams often, you know, obviously always looking for assistance, I think a lot of stylists, younger and older, don't really know what that means to assist. And you brought up something about you going to Europe for 3 weeks to hold pens. Let's talk about being an assistant backstage. What does that look like?
Well, let's talk about this first. There's a part that I'm leaving out. There was a time when I couldn't even touch hair backstage. I was the bag boy for a few weeks. Moved the bags, because they had, you know, when backstage they're traveling with 13, 14 big trunk bags of hair and products and this and that. And it was like the first thing you do when you get there, especially when you're tall like me, it's like, you do the bags. And it's like, I came here to assist for hair. Like there's such a process through it. And I don't know if that exists anymore, because I feel like now everyone just sees on Instagram and they feel like they could just do this job. But like, I didn't touch hair for a long time. When I started to touch hair, it was like, you do the prep before I do the style. Then I was the pin holder and all of that stuff. And it kind of grew. And what this did for me leaving a salon where I'm a lead stylist and I have two different assistants, because I was so fast that I would have one doing the braid downs and I'm sewing in the other one, and the other one, like, I had a system. That's how fast I was as a stylist. So like in my head, in the stylist, I'm like the man, and I'm like, oh, this is my world, and I'm making six figures, and I'm in my early 20s, and I'm fine. And then I leave that world, and I'm like, do the bags. Don't touch no hair. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, but I knew that what I saw in this other world, I wanted to be a part of it. And I looked around and I saw no one, or not much people that looked like me, other than our friend Cherie, who was too. And we would be looking at each other like, yeah, we're the only ones. And we had one other
friend.
Yeah. And, but it was very humbling for me, because I left my well-known, established job to be a pupil, but it was the best thing I could have ever done. So you
believed in yourself. You had a goal. Yeah. I mean, and you really had to step out on faith.
I would speak to other stylists that was in my position, in my world, like, are you kidding me? You do so well in Harlem, and all the girls love you, and all the people, you're always doing weaves, and you're doing 2 weaves at a time, and you have 2 assistants, and why would you go hold pins? You know, why would you go and assist another hairstylist? And I don't think people at the time could see the trajectory of what I saw. It wasn't about actually, it was just about the impact. And it was about like understanding that your vision can run a whole thing. Like, people are using your vision, and not to mention, it's a different thing financially, very different thing financially. It's very rewarding. I feel like as a hairstylist, I did a lot of people a day for what I had to do per day, as opposed to what I saw people doing in this world at one show. It was like, so, you know.
It's a different life. It's a different life, a different paycheck. Yeah, exactly. And so I can totally relate about, you know, switching gears in your career and people not truly understanding, but that kind of goes back to us sometimes not even knowing what our opportunities are, right? So there are just people that are like, you know, I love that and it's fantastic for you. But, you know, there are different things that I want to accomplish. So I commend you for that, because it takes having strong faith in yourself to be able to continue on and reach those goals.
And recently, I've also experienced a lot of different things too, where sometimes it's just also about like just the experience, and like also wanting to be a part of what's happening or support what's happening. I am friends with a lot of celebrity hairstylists. And they don't do shows, and they're always like, I want to be on your show team. And in my head, I'm like, but you're at the top of your game.
I want to be on your show team.
Yeah, like, you know,
I want to be on your show team.
But also, it's not even like an ego thing. It's just like, you know, it's what gets us excited. Like, okay, we're creating today, and I get to create and do it multiple times, but do it with multiple textures. And as a hairstylist, that's a rewarding thing. It's a feeling, you know what I mean? And what I like to do when I invite a hairstylist that's well established is collaborate with them, as opposed to, well, this is what we're doing and this is how I want it done. I think it's such a beautiful thing when you can make someone feel like your presence is needed here, you know, and put the ego aside. And I love when I invite hairstylists that are already established, or hairstylists that I've recently started bringing hairstylists that I assisted in the assistant to my shows. And it's like such a rewarding thing, because it's like, even in them, technically assisting me, I'm still learning from them. And I think it's such a beautiful thing to put all of that to the side, you know, and I'm learning that this thing that we do is it's a language of love. This handwork with hair, it's not just a trade, it's a language of love. And if someone like yourself is saying, I want to be on your show team, and I see you, and I'm such a big fan of like what you've done. I remember in school, it was like, Tippi Shorter, that's the career you want. And it was like, you know, so for you to say that to me, it's like, you know, but I realized that it's just about like, just to be there to do something fun, and for us to like, I could look at you and be like, Tippi, blah, 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 blah. And you'll probably be like, got it. And, you know, I think for that sometimes that's just, as opposed to like a lot of hairstylists standing around not knowing what to do, how to do it, or, you know, but it's not an ego thing. I think it's definitely a language of love that us as hairstylists have sometimes, to just be able to do something with or for each other, you know. Sometimes I think even hairstylists who do other hairstylists' hair, that's a whole language of like, wow, you're a hairstylist and you trust me to do your hair, you know? So it's like, There's little things I'm realizing is like a great thing. And whenever really established hairstylists or really famous hairstylists talk about working with me on shows, I'm always inspired and take it as a grateful thing. So I just want to add that in there real quick.
Well, thank you for adding that. And I will be reaching out to you for interviews. And you did say something, and I'll just make this super brief, but you mentioned something about people that you used to assist, you're able to, bring them along with you now. And that really kind of speaks highly to community. And, I think a lot of times, a lot of people think of hairstyling as almost kind of a crab in a bucket scenario where we're all in the salon together, we're all stealing clients, we're all, and those are terrible things, very old ideas of what hairstyling is. But here you are, someone who taught you, mentored you, you are now able to return that favor and bring them into the space that you worked so hard to get to.
I love to debunk that. I love to debunk that. I love to change that idea and narrative. And like, I sometimes at shows knowing exactly what I'm going to do. And then the person who I asked to come back and help me still is able to show me a quicker way to do it, even while I'm teaching the team, and you can't even make that get to you in a sense of like ego. Cause I don't operate in that way. I'm always like, oh, wait, stop. She just did something that I think we should be doing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like just the community of it. And just, I think there's a language amongst hairstylists, like it takes us away from something. It makes us feel good. It makes us feel good to make other people feel good. It makes us feel like scientists when we can use our hands and use something malleable that's something right there to kind of turn it into something else. So I take it for those things.
I love it. If you could share what recently do you think to have been one of your biggest accomplishments as a hairstylist?
My biggest accomplishment so far, I think, has been my exhibition, to be able to show the world a window into the world of like why I fell in love with hair and the island that I grew up on and how amazing that hair culture is. Another one of my biggest accomplishments, I don't ever say this, but I had to think about it the other day, like, why are you not saying this? I have really been able to work with some amazing people like Beyonce and Rihanna and Solange and Naomi Campbell and Megan Thee Stallion and other people like that. And I don't ever say their names a lot, but I've done it and I need to start saying it. So this is like the first interview that I'm going to start saying.
Yes. Own that, friend.
Be able to take their image and apply myself or my style to it in a sense that suits them, but also works in fashion and speaks to hair art instead of just styling hair to look good, challenging myself with brands, challenging myself with clients to think outside the box, to, a lot of the things that I do is when I am sitting in on these meetings with these brands and they want the hair like this, and their knowledge of textured hair is so small that they don't know that it can also do this if we wanted her to feel and look like this. Bringing up those conversations, I feel like I would never say before that was a big accomplishment, but with the brands that I work with, it's a big accomplishment.
Having the ear of the brands, because they are in control of the visuals and things that, kind of move the beauty industry. So you being able to even have the ear and, have them respect your ideas, your vision, your talent to help drive what that looks like is an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah. I'm also excited on a personal project that I'm working on that hopefully would change the way we look at hair and technology and all of that stuff. So fingers crossed about that. And I'm also excited about some collaborations that may be coming up later on next year that I can't really mention, but I'm excited about it.
Stuff we'll see on stage or in magazine or on red carpets or stuff like that. Maybe. All right. Yeah. Just make sure you update me when you get an opportunity
I
to.
promise I will.
Scroll it through your social.
And if I had to say one more, being able to be from where I'm from, but still have an impact in Europe and actively have an impact in America and Europe at the same time is not an easy thing. This is why I'm never one place. But you know, I know people who went to Europe and they've done well in Europe and they've come back to America and they're now only working in America. I feel like for me to be still working in both markets, I don't see that a lot. So that's kind of one of my best accomplishments as well.
That's awesome. That's exciting. You spoke about your exhibition. Can you share a little bit more about that?
Okay, I have an exhibition coming on in April along with a book project that I've been working on for a while. I would love to be able to show you, but I don't have anything right now to show you. We're going to be launching the book and doing the exhibition the same day, and I can't wait.
So where? You said in April. So where is this happening?
In New York, but we're still like finding the venue and we're still working out all the logistics. But please stay tuned. I will be posting on my Instagram at Jawara, Jawaraw. So you can see as things are happening, I'm going to be doing it in real time. Like, oh, we found a place. Oh, here goes the book. Oh, So
I'm going to be releasing content every week, and so maybe when we are getting close to that, if you have the ability to do like 1 or 2 giveaway passes to come and join and support, I'd love to maybe offer that to some of the viewers.
Okay, I'd love that, and maybe even a copy of the book.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, no, I'm going to cover it for sure. I'm going to cover the, I need the dates to make sure that I can be there, but you know, I'm busy, not as busy as you, friend, but I'm definitely busy too. So I definitely want to make sure that's there.
Yeah.
I would love to know one fun fact about you that maybe a lot of people don't know.
One fact about me. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, you think about it. We'll come back to that. Right.
I have a very weird sense of humor, and that's an
amazing fun fact.
I like the most weirdest stuff when it comes to like my sense of humor, but I don't know if people know that. But yeah.
Okay. All right. That's great to know.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about what would you be doing if you weren't a hairstylist?
What would I be doing if I wasn't a hairstylist? I wanted to be a teacher when I was a kid. But I feel like if I wasn't a hairstylist, I'd probably work in. I'm not even going to say that. I was going to say I'd probably be a stripper.
Listen, I've seen your Instagram bio.
My favorite.
In fact, I feel like you're giving us second career through your Instagram.
If I was not, would I be? Yeah, I would be probably a stripper.
Yeah. Well, you know, but I feel like you would, you know, maybe you would have some designer, you know, make the whole show.
I'd make it fashion.
Almost like a runway show.
I'd make it fashion, right?
Exactly.
A second career.
For you.
A second career I would be if I was not a hairstylist. I would probably. I'd probably go into real estate. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. But only to find buildings that you can then strip in, because you said stripper type. So I think we're going with that. I think we're going.
You get me. You get me.
So we're nearing the end. We have a couple more questions left. But so you are the senior beauty editor at large. Is there an at small? You don't have to answer that because I hear at large all the time. I have no idea what that means. At ID Magazine. How did something like that come about? Because that's an incredible magazine. I've shot many celebrities for that magazine, and that is an impressive title. So talk about that.
I submitted a lot of stuff for that magazine. There was a time when I was doing a lot of beauty shoots and a lot of hair. And I think what happened was I caught the eye of Alistair, my friend Alistair McKim, who's the editor-in-chief, and he felt like it was great to have me be a part of it. One of the things I loved about what he was able to see is that I'm more of a collaborator. It's not always about me. I like to collaborate with people. And I think that beauty is it's better when it's this collaborative thing. So every issue we try.
You are in New York, by the way. Hold on.
Yeah, you hear it, right?
The siren in the back. Yeah, you are in New York.
You hear it? And mind you, I'm in the quiet part of New York, by the way. If I was in Manhattan, you guys would be like, every issue we try to commission a new young beauty artist or a hairstylist or makeup artist to contribute to the magazine. And also we have one spot for a new person and then one spot for a person who's established. And we try to push that in the magazine. And it's been really, really good. Like meeting people, talking to them about their ideas and understanding that, you know, like beauty is such a collaborative thing, and seeing different people's perspective on beauty has been really amazing. So it's very rewarding.
Yeah.
And one of the first things I did when I got there was I did a whole beauty portfolio of like a lot of people in one story, where it's like different hairstyles and makeup artists. And I just found so much amazing people. It was amazing.
That is awesome. So if any of these young hairstylists wanted to submit or put themselves in the space to be seen, featured, or shown, what tips or steps would you give them for that?
I would say number one, start testing with photographers. Start testing with photographers that you're friends with. Start testing with your friends. Start testing. Start doing test shoots, trying hair. One thing that's very important with hair is the hair that we do in the salon is very different than the hair that you do on set, because in the salon, you're thinking about a 360, how it looks 360. So things fall a certain way. In front of camera, sometimes you prop up something to look a certain way, and then the back looks crazy. But that's like the shot, you know, sometimes that's how you build the drama for the hair silhouette to feel a certain way. So I would definitely test and do a bit more networking. You know, go meet people, let people know about your work, be out there with your work, show your work on social media. Always, if you're at the stage where you're assisting, please, assisting is so important. I would definitely say assist, and don't stand there and look at the person doing hair and just be like, oh, I could do this. Or, you know, like don't underestimate the fact that they're doing something else that you're probably not seeing until you actually really pay attention. So assist, do shows, get on shows, pay attention to everything. And continue to just test and have photos to show people your work when you need to.
I know that when I started, I physically had a portfolio or a PDF link that I would send for someone to look at my portfolio. Today, everyone's looking at your Instagram. Yeah. So do you recommend that people have a personal Instagram and a pro Instagram, or should, you know, I still believe in having a portfolio.
I still believe in having an online portfolio too. Like, I think that's something that, you know, people can see, but like when you start talking about clients and corporate clients looking at your Instagram, don't get me wrong, but it's also good to have a website. I have managed to make my Instagram mostly about hair, and then here and there about myself, but that works for my personality. For other
and your
people,
brand.
Yeah, it works for my brand and my personality. If some people's work is very different from the private life that they live, like extremely different, mine is not that far. So I would say if it feels very different from the work that you're trying to convey, definitely do a separate Instagram. But if it's like harmless stuff of like people love to see you, people love to feel connected to you. So that's a good thing. However, if it's on the edge or if it's a bit more risque, maybe that's a separate Instagram.
Yeah.
I know a lot of hairstylists that are amazing and they have amazing celebrity clients, and they have a very separate Instagram because they love themselves and their bodies and they want to show that, and it's a very different thing. And I think that works as opposed to putting that all on the same. But I mean,
same.
Who am I?
Well, what I will say is I think that your Instagram is an amazing flow of your work as well as you and your personality. So people get to know more about you. Like I said, prior to meeting you and get to know you, I felt like I did just strictly through your social media. So, but I do agree that if you do post things that are a bit risky and, you know, questionable and things like that, for sure have a separate page. Absolutely.
I agree.
I love to end the conversation by asking one question, and then would love for you to finish the sentence. It starts with we are all. So I'd love for you to finish that. We are all
one and binded by the same heartbeat.
Oh, love that. Love that. That is incredible. Well, Jawara, thank you so much for blessing me with your time for my very first Pro Convo. I'm so excited about it. I was truly excited just to learn more about you, period. You know, we've had wonderful phone conversations. We got a chance to hug in person.
Yes.
And we are actually working on something in the background as well, you and I and
Yes.
another friend, Cherie. So I just really wanted to take this time to get to know so much more about you. And thank you so much for blessing me with your time and our viewers with your time. And we'll be looking forward to your book project as well as your exhibition. And we'll be following you on social.
All right. Sounds good. And thank you so much.
All right. Thanks. All right.